So it reminds me of Mark Dutroux and Rasta Rostelli, because Rasta Rostelli was involved with Anne and Eefje, who were later on that same evening kidnapped by Mark Dutroux and hypnotized before by Rasta Rostelli. And why do I think there is a connection? Because my father had these strange or these elite connections. I guess my parents wanted to be part of this elite. They're not elite for me. And they didn't know or they didn't realize what the consequences were, that they were so extreme and heavy. And my father had connections to Walt Disney. My mother told me that when he was 27, he went on a business trip to America to have a business meeting with Walt Disney. We all know what Walt Disney does. He also had, or he was befriend with Charles de Gaulle, a former president of France. He was also a military officer. He had connections to bankers. He had connections to haute couture. When I was about 16 years old, my father started to arrange a shop for my sister. I have an older sister, so-called sister, because my mother told me when I was 46, my mother told me she could not be my real mother. Strange. After so many years, she told me she probably could not be my mother. And that came because we were at the birthday party of my niece, and a cousin came to me and he said, I don't understand, you're not having the life you should have. He's older than me and I didn't see him for 10 years, I believe. And he said, you're intelligent, you have a high education. I did university law in Rotterdam. I didn't finish it. And you live in a small flat. It didn't add up to him. And after 2 hours, he observed me. He came back and he said, I know what's going on. He said, your mother is keeping you small. And he said, don't get me wrong. I was in love with your mother, but what she's doing now is wrong. And that activated all things in my mind. And although I had conversations with my mother every day on the telephone, it triggered me. And she noticed that at my behavior. She couldn't control me anymore. And then I had this conversation with her on the phone, which I said, it's so strange that my mother doesn't want me to do better. And she says, it's good, stay this way. And then I said to her, sometimes I think you're not my real mother. And she said, that could be, that's possible that I'm not your mother. And that shocked me also, but also it gave me some relief. Because then I realized I'm not like her. I'm not like my family. And when I was 16, my father arranged a shop for my sister. It took about 2 years before the shop opened in Rotterdam. Napri Fashions, didn't stay long. But between 2 years, when I was 16 and 18 years old, we went to Brussels, we went to Paris to do shopping, haute couture, mainly she sold Yves Saint Laurent. Look up the strange story about the former or the boyfriend Pierre Berger of Yves Saint Laurent. He liked boys. I met Pierre Gardin for a few seconds. A YouTuber claims that Pierre Gardin was a member of the Mothers of Darkness. Search for that story. Mothers of Darkness, if they really exist, are this evil club who also have these snuff parties at Château des Amoureux. Snuff parties are parties where they abuse, molest, and kill and sacrifice children. There are more stories about that. Regina Louf, others. Also, Kathy O'Brien tells these stories. Rose Ballette, Pink Ballet. But It's all not true, of course. I believe they are true. And Pierre Gardin was also a famous guest at Hotel Eden, where we stayed for 9 months. So that's a coincidence, of course. And my father had also connections with mayors, people of the government. He had many, many business meetings in Brussels and so forth. But whatever they did or tried to do to me, they tried to ruin me. I didn't get any jobs, good jobs, because all the elites, they're not elites to me, again, they own these companies. I was invited for a meeting, for a conversation. How do you say that? When you search for a job, I cannot find a word. And when I was sitting, waiting at the receptionist behind on the wall, there was a text of Bill Gates. That's a company in Barendrecht near to Rotterdam. And they do clean water. I've been gangstalked. I had this encounter with this multi-millionaire here in Rotterdam in Hilgersberg, who seems to have a basement. A very evil, strange basement. I will tell you later on. He tried to get me, but he didn't get me anywhere. Never, never, never will get me. And now after 20 years, he's sick. They tell me he's sick. He has this virus. So it doesn't matter how rich you are or how famous. I'm going to expose you. I'm going to tell the truth. And you can run, but you cannot hide. Thank you for watching. See you next time.